Hi, everyone. Welcome to the July show and tell. We're so excited you're here with us today. As you know, we do this webinar the first Wednesday of every month. And today is the July edition. For those of you who have never joined us for show and tell, we do it monthly. It's just a chance for a handful of our creative team around the world to come together. We just share some things that are currently inspiring us, and hopefully they'll inspire you as well. Just as a quick reminder before we jump in, we will follow up with you later this week with all of the links that are going to be shared in today's webinar, as well as the video to it. If you'd like to look back at any previous show and tells from other months, you can check out our FS YouTube channel, or if you're a client, you can find them on our webcast portion of our website as well. Before we jump in, I'm going to turn it over to Ash from our marketing team. A few housekeeping things. As always, we'd love to hear from you while we're going through the webinar. Use your chat box if you have any questions or you want to let us know if there's some other things that you'd like to share with the attendees. Please just make sure to use everyone in the pull down so that both attendees and panelists can see your comments or your questions.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone. Just a few webinars that I wanted to mention today that we have coming up. Firstly, we have partnered again with Informa Markets Fashion to bring you a series of webinars throughout July for the men's and women's spring-summer 24 season and for the fall-winter 24-25 season for apparel sourcing. So each of these live sessions is free to attend. You can visit fashionsnoops.com/events to find the links to register for each of them. And each session also comes with an accompanying trend preview guide, which you can look at now for a sneak peek at the products and the concepts that will be explored more in depth during these digital sessions. We will also be presenting them live at Project and Sourcing next month on the 7th of August. So if you're going to be there, please come and say hi to the team, including Michael and Nia, who are here today, and they'll be presenting the men's and the sourcing sessions. And then lastly, I wanted to let you know that we have partnered with e-commerce platform BigCommerce to bring you a webinar that will help you navigate the rapidly evolving retail landscape. So this webinar is called Humanizing the Digital Commerce Experience. Again, it's free to attend. Everyone is welcome, and just visit fashionsnoops.com/events for the link to register for this one as well.
Thank you, Ash. Yeah, we look forward to seeing those of you who are going to be in Vegas. Please do come to the men's, women's, and materials presentations. Looking forward to it. All right, give me just a second. I'm going to bring up today's links for everyone. We have some really cool ones to start out the summer, our first official show and tell of the summer. And I believe our first one today is Taryn. Hey, Taryn.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Michael. So I'm Taryn. I'm the beauty and wellness strategist here at FS. So today with my links, I was feeling very nostalgic. We have some really fun throwbacks that are making headlines right now. So the first link I wanted to share is about the new Barbie film that's coming out in July. I'm sure we're all aware of it and have seen all of the fun commercials and trailers for the new movie, but something that I saw that I thought was really cool and unique was that you can now actually stay at the Malibu Barbie Dream House through Airbnb. So for a limited time, Airbnb is partnering with the Barbie movie to give away a free stay in a real human-sized Malibu Barbie Dream House. So Airbnb announced it's giving away a pair of one-night stays next month at the Dream House. The catch is that you have to find a way to get there yourself, and apparently the property doesn't have a kitchen, so you'll have to bring your own food or go out. But the dream house is actually Ken themed, so you'll be able to stay in his room, check out his wardrobe, his workout area, and obviously enjoy some pool time with oceanfront views from the mansion. But the house itself is really wild and fun, as you can see through all of the photos. And I was looking at some of the photos earlier when I first saw this, and it looks like they're AI generated, but they're all real. It's just really decked out in Barbie core, which is so fun.
And I was going to say, I know this is the third month, I think, in a row we've had some Barbie links, but it is really interesting. I was reading on Twitter just last week that this movie has actually generated more collaborations, special collections and partnerships than any movie in history, which is really interesting. And you can just do a quick Google search or look on Twitter to see the list of the various brand extensions that are coming out of this movie. But it's mind-blowing when you actually see how many there are, including real estate.
Yeah, for sure. We're actually doing on our team, we're doing a report for Barbie Core with all of the really fun beauty and wellness products that we're seeing launch ahead of the movie. So you're right, there's definitely a lot out there, which is exciting. It's always fun, and it's a great way for summer vibes. So my second link is a video, if you want to maybe hold on 1 second before you play it. But sticking with the nostalgia theme, recently it was announced that the classic 2000 show Zoe 101 is getting a reboot as a movie. So the new film is called Zoe 102 and is Paramount Plus's sequel film to the original Nickelodeon series. The film reunites a lot of its original cast. In the present day, as the main character, Zoe Brooks gets together with the rest of her classmates to attend their previous classmates' wedding. So if you want to press play, we can watch the trailer together.
Zoe? Zoe? What's your last name again?
Did I tell you that I got proposed to the other night on a second date? I mean, it's like the second we turn 30, everybody just becomes obsessed with, will you be my maid of honor? Shut up. We didn't know they were getting married.
I don't know what I'd do without my best friend there. Chase is gonna be there. It's gonna be fine. It'll be the reunion we all need.
I need another drink.
I just hope she shows up. I think she's still stuck on her ex, Chase, from high school. It's sad. And I don't think she's had a relationship since. Zoe?
Your maid of honor has arrived. I need someone to play my boyfriend at my best friend's wedding.
Hi, I'm Hugo Hemsworth, Zoe's boy.
Oh boy! Wow, that's a strong grip and jawline.
Down to Quinn Logan.
Who wants the most?
You may be seated.
Let's go, Chase!
When did life get so messy? I would kill to go back to PCA.
I'm sure we'd all love to go back.
I just think about all the things I dreamed about in high school, and now I'm here, and it's like, is this it? Is this the dream?
It's really gross how often you talk about high school.
You all went to high school together?
Yeah, PCA, baby!
Thanks, Taryn.
No problem.
Okay, next up is Nico.
Hey everyone, Nico here from the culture team. My first link is the new issue of Vestoy, which is, they call it a sartorial journal. And this is a publication that's focused on fashion, but they're always prioritizing writing over any advertisements or glossy, glamorous pictures, which I love. This new issue, I have it right here also, is called On Everyday Life. And I'll just read quickly the short description here about what it's about. So Vestoy on Everyday Life is an exploration of routines, rituals, and repetitions, the many ingenious ways in which the weak make use of the strong, how common people reappropriate and subvert material culture to suit their own interests and rules, and a lyrical and critical exploration of generic, inexpensive, and mass-produced objects. We are looking at the practice and poetics of the everyday, consumption as a creative act, and consumers not as passive receptacles, but rather active agents with the ability to adapt the system imposed on them in a myriad of small, personal, and intuitive ways in order to navigate and enjoy life. So I haven't dug into this yet, but I'm super excited to. I love that they really focus on fashion, not just as an object, but as a mindset and as an approach to identity, culture, and lifestyle. And also the way that they employ history, philosophy, sociology, and also even fiction and poetry in their issues. So you can pick this up if you're in New York at McNally Jackson. That's where I got it, if you're interested. And I also have their last two issues. This one was Vestoy on Capital, and this one is Vestoy on Doubt, which I actually think I showed in Show and Tell last year when this came out.
Nico, can you remind us the origin of Vestoy, if you remember or know?
The name?
Yes.
So I know this. Vestoy, I believe, so there's I forgot what it's called, but there was an attempt to create a pan-European language. And the word Vestoy is fashion in that theoretical language that doesn't really exist. I forgot what they called the language. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, please send it in the chat.
That's great.
Esperanto. Thank you, Odessa.
Yes. Thank you, Odessa.
So my second link, there might be some audio when you open it, just a forewarning. But this is called The Dream Keeper. And this is an AI project where you can basically write what you dreamt of either last night or whenever, and it will generate an animated visual of your dream. So if you click enter, Michael, and you paste the prompt that I sent you, you'll see kind of how this works.
Hold on, Nico. I pasted what you told me, but hold on. Let me grab it again.
While you're getting it up, I can just walk through a little bit how this works. So this organization collaborated with dream scientists, tech developers, and AI experts to design this website that uses generative AI to convert your dreams into animated visuals using a combination of GPT-3 to help you refine your prompt. And then it uses an AI system called Stable Diffusion to generate the actual animated output.
So did you want to describe what your prompt was before I generate the dream?
Sure, yeah. So basically, I had a dream that I went to Beyonce's Renaissance tour, and instead of being in a stage, it was on a beach, and Beyonce was performing in the water with synchronized swimmers, and then she brought out Lady Gaga, and Lady Gaga sang a new song that hasn't come out yet. I wish I could remember how it sounded, but I don't. But anyway, I actually couldn't put Beyonce or Lady Gaga in the prompt because they're trying to prevent people from, trying to generate images of actual real life people. So I kind of just had to go about describing what I saw.
Okay, let's see.
So while it's loading, the actual prompt that I've had Michael paste into the website is, I had a dream. I watched a concert with synchronized swimmers in the shore of the beach. It was nighttime. There were lights and waterworks. The dancers wore sparkly outfits. They were dancing to disco. There was a dance floor in the water. There was a large audience watching.
Okay, sounds good from words. Let's see how long it takes to generate visuals. You should hear my computer right now. The fan is like taking off like an airplane, so it must be taking a lot of energy here.
Oh, here we go. So cool. So yeah, check it out, try it. And then actually, if you keep using this website, it actually keeps all your generated dreams. So you can like keep this kind of as a dream journal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Some of us are really vivid dreamers and some of us can't remember any dreams. So I always love comparing it to my friends. Thanks, Nico. Those were really fun.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right, now we're gonna do, we have Katie from the women's team. Hey, Katie.
Hi, Nico. That was so cool. I just had to say I loved that. And I'm a vivid dreamer, so I have to try it. I remember all of them, but that is so neat. So I thought it was cool. Yeah, so before we play the TikToks, I'm doing boxer shorts for this month. So we've seen an explosion of boxer shorts this summer, which is so cool. I actually featured it in my retail overview for May and June for women's, and I'm featuring it in the upcoming spring Instagram trends because it's so big. So I have two from like that are current within this month, and then I have one TikTok that we first saw in 2022. So we saw the trends that back last summer. It, you know, speaks to like an undone, like rolled out of bed look, and underwear as outerwear. I've even seen that trend evolve, just like the no pants look, like earlier this spring. And I feel like it challenges like preppy norms, right? Like dressed up on top, and then like
Sorry.
no, that's fine. So yeah, so again, it just gained so much more popularity this summer. And then you'll see with the TikToks that I guess we can replay it or whatever. You can either style it like really feminine with like silk tops or boxers, or like wear it high-waisted with a crop top, or like more masculine with like boots and oversized blazers, white button downs, like kind of like an undone look. And then I also want to mention that there's two brands that have gone viral, which go viral a lot, Uniqlo and Zara, like for featuring their boxer shorts that are like, I don't know, like $7 or something like that. But yeah, you can play them and you'll see all the fun looks.
Super cute.
Yeah, really fun. I love it.
So Katie, how did you come about, like, how did this like come onto your radar when you were doing your research? Were you just noticing?
Yeah. So literally when I was looking at all the trends in retail live, I saw the trend of just like, I was like, are these shorts or are these like swimsuits? And they were just oversized like boxer shorts, like typically in like stripes with like blue and white, and in a very like styled manner, like layered and with like crew necks or tanks. And I saw this a lot on social too. Or like paired with high socks or like Mary Jane sneakers or boots. And I just saw it like organically, and I just saw it on my TikTok like a lot. Like it's really blowing up, and I think it's so fun. And I think what's really cool about it too is I feel like it's a super like brand new concept and idea. I've seen like an undone look and, you know, like a masculine look with the suits and stuff like that, or like, you know, women borrowing masculine trends and stuff like that, but I haven't seen like just boxers, like straight up wearing boxers. So I thought it was like super fresh and cool.
And also just a good chance to hype our retail live, our social live tool for those of you who aren't clients. We have amazing tech put into place where our teams have basically put a framework around like various accounts, thousands of accounts that we follow, and it's able to scrape all of those for you, whether in men's, women's, accessories, etc. It's just an amazing way to do the heavy lifting for you, because not everyone has the time to, of course, go through and peruse hundreds, if not thousands of social media accounts. So our tool does it for you. So it's just a really great thing that we use on our side. Of course, Katie spent a lot of time in it being in charge of retail. So
yeah, it's an awesome tool, and it's easy to pick out, you know, and see what's really trending and what's really popular. And this was trending everywhere. And then this is the one from 2022 to show you like the evolution. It was more stylized with like the silk, and you can really dress it up. So I thought it was really cool.
Oh yeah, much more formal.
Much more formal, which is really fun, like pairing it with heels and a clutch, but yeah, it's like boxer shorts, or you could, you know, take the preppy look and like dress it down like that, or like the workwear look. And then
Another Barbie link for today.
yes,
I love this
another
one.
Barbie. It's so fun. I kind of went with the Barbie vibe for like what I'm wearing. But yeah, so Barbie's like super taking over, as we can see in everything. So this is combined with the power of AI, which is really fun. They designed what Barbie's dream house would look like in all 50 states. So you see here, you know, they're in like the Arizona, like the desert, or Alaska with the snow in the winter. They take like some of the key characteristics and styles of homes that like represent their state's like architectural design the best, you know, along with the environment, like farms, or if it's snowy or like fall like that with Connecticut, I think it's beautiful. And I really think it just shows you like the power and the cultural phenomenon that is Barbie, and like the massive impact it has, and you know, on society and adaptation into like everyday things, including the Barbie core and like influence in clothing, but also, you know, with like architectural like design. Yeah, so they have all the 50 states here. I went through like immediately and picked out like my top favorite houses that I'd want to live in, because I think it's just fun. But yeah, like I guess thinking forward too, I thought it was really neat how this could even change, you know, the modeling and like the creation of home design with like such ease. As you can see, it was adapted for like all these different designs and styles, which I thought was so cool. Yeah, so it's a super fun thing to scroll through to see all the fun Barbie houses. Some are modern, some, you know, are like that or planted in the desert. Some are like mid-century vibes. I think that's New Jersey, right? They have the shore, which is fun. I had to see what New Jersey was. I thought that was cute.
Mallory from the beauty team and I, we both live in Connecticut. Connecticut's probably my favorite one, other than Massachusetts, maybe. Georgia's cool. I was kind of surprised at California. I kind of expected like the quintessential Malibu one there, but it actually was very Palm Springs-esque desert.
They went with like the Palm Springs. Maybe it was overdone or something.
Yeah.
Palm Springs.
Oregon, like this cool little tiny house.
Yeah, it's like tiny house on wheels, like modular. Even PA, Pennsylvania is cute. I mean, all of them. And I like how they have even like different seasons that like represent the state. Like it just shows you how smart AI is, you know, it's so cool. Or the animals, you know, around. It's very, very, very fun going through them. I didn't mind scrolling through all 50 because they were just so fun and exciting. And it shows you like states that, you know, I don't normally like, you know, explore myself, you know, so it's cool to see their like design and style.
Right.
It was fun. Yeah.
No, it's cool. I like that you share this link because it's a fusion of two huge things in the zeitgeist right now, which is Barbie and AI. So it was perfect.
Yeah, really, really, really fun.
Thank you, Katie. These were great. Appreciate it.
Thank you, of course.
Awesome. Okay, so here are my two links, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michael, VP of Menswear. Mine are both strangely very apocalyptic, which is funny to do coming right off of the 4th of July here in the US. So my first one was a Wall Street Journal article on atomic tourism. We've shared many articles over the last 2 years since revenge travel really started taking off about new realms of travel. And this one was really interesting to me just because there are some really interesting things when it comes to the atomic era being in our pop cultural zeitgeist right now. Atomic tourism isn't really anything new. It's actually been around since the 50s and the 60s, but it's kind of entering the conversation once again, which I thought was really interesting. There's two major movies. One has already hit the screens, and that's Wes Anderson's movie. And then, of course, there's another one coming out soon called Oppenheimer, which is, of course, about J. Robert Oppenheimer, who was the key figure behind the Manhattan Project. So between that and Asteroid City, there's a lot of discussion. And also, of course, thinking about the unfortunate political unrest in Ukraine with Russia and threats and things like that. This is all kind of at the forefront. You can kind of peruse through the article. Once we send out the links, you can see all the examples of what atomic tourism is. Surprisingly, the US government actually has a lot of opportunities. Many of them are free, offered every month. For example, in the Nevada desert, there's a test site that's 65 miles away from Las Vegas, where you can actually see a lot of things that happened in the early 60s. You can see the site. There's some things in Arizona. It seems to primarily, of course, be focused around Arizona, Nevada, et cetera, because that's where most of the research took place. But there's a lot of companies that allow you to kind of come in and stay. There's even some more luxury examples of this where you can live in a silo that's been revamped, which I thought was interesting. You can even see some of these like faux neighborhoods that they created during the height of the nuclear crisis, where of course they were prepared for people to live if anything happened. So I just thought this was an interesting article, and you can kind of read through it and see some of the examples of places. You can even stay, you know, for example, the Greenbrier Resort, which is in West Virginia. It's an actual resort where even some friends of mine go and stay occasionally because they live in Virginia. And this, of course, has a huge bunker underneath, which was able to accommodate both houses of Congress in the event of a nuclear attack. And you can actually tour those facilities since the early 90s. So there's a lot of examples here, but it's just something that I noticed that was really interesting. And speaking of silo, this takes me to my next link, which is about a new amazing show. I know of a couple other of my fellow FS team members who are obsessed with this show on Apple TV Plus right now. It's been out since late May. All the episodes are now out. Highly recommend it. I'm obsessed with the world building in it, but it's called Silo. Let me just kind of explain a little bit about it before I show you the trailer. But basically, it's really interesting because we've talked so much about retrofuturism over the last few years. And of course, if you've seen Severance and if you've seen Hello Tomorrow on Apple TV Plus, this is another really good example of what retrofuturism can actually represent. But in this TV show called Silo, it's set in this dystopian future. It could be even like now, we're not really sure. There's a community of over 10,000 people who live in a giant underground silo that is comprised of 144 levels. And the silo has apparently been there for over 140 years. The people in the community live by really strict rules and regulations that are meant to protect them. Apparently, all of human history has been erased from existence. No one knows anything about previous human history. The people inside don't know about anything that came before. This includes everything from culture to nature. The residents can see on a screen that there are stars in the sky, but they don't even know what the stars are. Also, relics from the past are considered dangerous and illegal, and this includes anything from as benign as like a Pez dispenser. The series is based on a series of books by Hugh Howey called Wool. So if you're familiar with like sci-fi books, you'll know those. But yeah, the history has been destroyed to such a degree that they don't know how they got there or what happens outside. And before I play the trailer, the biggest thing you should know about it is that you are not allowed outside the silo. If you do say, I want to go outside, they legally must remove you from the silo. They put you in like a spacesuit and they send you on your way outside the silo, and they have one big screen in the cafeteria where they can see what they think the outer world looks like. And a lot of people start to kind of doubt that what they're seeing on the screen is really what is happening out there. So let me just play the trailer for you, and then I just want to talk a little bit about the set design.
What if what we see is not what's out there?
We do not know why we are here. We do not know who built the silo and why we are underground. We only know the world outside our sanctuary is death.
If you boil the pact down to one rule, it's do not say you want to go outside. Or you will go outside.
Don't you ever think about the world beyond the silo?
What if what we see is not what's out there?
Down in mechanical, there's always someone who has a theory about the silo. And I need to find out the truth.
I
found something that might hold the answers to a lot of questions.
You have to stay quiet. And keep your head down.
Are you willing to give everything you have for this? The clock is running. There isn't much time left.
This is a threat to order in the silo.
I don't care about order. What about finding out the truth?
Some mysteries, they're best left unsolved.
So as far as the set design, something that I loved about it is that typically you would think like a big concrete tunnel wouldn't be the most visually compelling thing, but they actually really design it so that it looks like a real lived-in world. So the offices and the homes are painted in different colors. Of course, since there's no photographs, they don't exist. Everyone has beautiful drawings of like their families and people they love, and everything feels really weathered and used. It doesn't seem like dirty and gross like other kind of dystopic shows that we've watched before. And it just really did remind me a lot of some of our previous design aesthetics over the last few seasons, where we kind of talk about that grittier form of design. One thing I just wanted to give you as a footnote, and I did not write this, this came from an article in Vox about it, but they say it doesn't feel coincidental to watch a show about a society that's essentially impacted by a lockdown in the 2020s, and themes of control over women's bodies and control over what history we can be taught have reflections in the real world in 2023. Who gets to decide what history matters? Who determines the value of knowledge? So I really love that, and it actually definitely kind of resonates with everything that we have going on in the world. So check it out if that's kind of your genre. I'm obsessed. I'm about halfway through the series now, and I really, really love it. So those are my links. And then I'm going to pass it to the other Michael Leahy.
Hi, everyone. Another Michael. As Michael said, I am a menswear and youth analyst, and I've been working on a lot of the retail stuff lately the social stuff in men's lately. And it's always fun to explore some Instagram accounts that don't only deal with fashion or stuff like that. Accounts that get to spotlight different art styles, music, whatever. I really enjoy. So this first one, it's from artist Robbie Shillstone, and it's called Shillstone Arts. It's a storytelling account that prompts its viewers to come up with personalities and backgrounds for each character shown through this really pleasant, unique, and abstract art style with smooth, classic jazz over it. It's such a fun account because it's like a little creative exercise that you might not even spend more than a few seconds on each post, but you'll still get that visual, that character in your head of whoever this person is and what their life is like. And beyond that, you can always take a look at the comments and see how drastically different someone else's point of view or story can be. It's just a cute little thing to do whenever I guess they post, which is pretty frequently. So yeah, it's the first.
Do you want me to play one, Michael?
Yeah, sure. If you wanna play one so you can hear some of the music that they include, it's pretty paramount.
And so to your point, everyone is commenting, they're kind of writing the narrative that they think goes from it.
Yeah, it's great. There's some really good storytellers in the Instagram comments. Who knew?
This is really cool.
Yeah. All right. For my second account, this is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but it's Giloy Conception. And this is an account that takes very sensitive but important slice of life images and overlays them or cuts them out with things you wish you said but never did. This account has exploded within the last year or so, and the artist actually just released the first book with that theme. And I think one of the biggest things about this account and why it's been so successful lately is how it's tapped into everyone's interests and ability to no longer ignore things like mental health, and how younger generations especially are less complicit and don't want to suffer in silence. So it takes a deep cut from someone's life, but it still makes it like a public journal, even though the submissions can remain anonymous. It still gets that conversation going. It still shows so many different people's vulnerabilities and kind of lets you in on the fact that other people might be going through similar things or really intense things. But it's also just very well done artistically. I think it's very intimate. It's very sensitive, as I mentioned. And then my this last account here is purely just an art account. It's really cool. This guy goes by the name of Modernism. It focuses on art that looks like it's been computer generated, but it is actually entirely practical. So it's really trippy visuals achieved with various materials, like different fluids with different viscosities, vibrations from speakers and sound, magnetic fluids, and with the boom of AI and all of the stuff we've been talking about with like how crazy it is that AI can create some really astonishing stuff that you wouldn't believe. It gets people doubting stuff like this, that like, wait, this is entirely practical. But it's a great page for finding different mood images and feelings. It's pretty interesting. And the artist also composes all of their music that they play in each video.
It's great. I have such a visceral reaction when you say magnetic fluids.
Exactly. Yeah. They use some pretty creative stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. These colors are amazing.
It's so insanely vibrant. It's really neat.
Wow. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, Mia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nia Silva, and I'm the materials director at FS. So today I have two super playful shares that I thought were really fun and lighthearted. So this first link, I have something that combines two of my kind of loves, and that's food and movies. So I'm sure there's already cookbooks inspired by movies, of course, but this one is from one of our company faves, the film production company A24. I feel like we share their movies all the time. They're so good. So they released a movie recipe book, so to speak. It feels more like a coffee table book rather than something you actually keep in your kitchen, because all of the recipes are a little bit more out there. So it's really all of the food shown in movies that were so wrong, they're kind of right. And the book is called Scrounging. So, you know, kind of gives you a bit more context of the food in these movies. If Michael's kind of scrolling through now, so you can see some of the recipes kind of highlighted there of some of these iconic food in movies. Like this first one is of course, the water and cereal dish from Friday. So they add a little bit of context. There's a bit of comedy there. And it's just really fun. Kind of scrolling through, you can see they have like some vintage movie, like back in the like 70s and 80s. They have stuff from now. They didn't just highlight, you know, movies that they've produced themselves. So there's some stuff from Parasite, which is really big for them. But then they have stuff from like Elf, of course, Elf, that spaghetti kind of dessert pasta that he was famous for in the movie. There's Kevin McAllister's what is it called, Sunday at the end as well. So just a very, very fun kind of visual you know, book. There it is there.
I love that it is like spiral bound, kind of like, you know, a recipe book your parents would get from church.
Super retro, right? I know, I
yeah.
love that. So a fun one if you can get your hands on it.
That's cool.
So yeah, so my second link, another article details something kind of ridiculous, but as of late, it seems to be what's trending. This link highlights another release from the brand Mischief, and I'm sure you're all familiar with them. In the past few years, they've blown up, of course, with their red boots, for example. really kind of taken off, driving this viral meme worthy kind of, it's almost like elevated like gag gifty aesthetic to me. So their latest release is this incredibly hilarious microscopic bag. I love that in the Times article here, it questions, the title is this is a bag for ants, so kind of like a nod to Zoolander with the intro, very funny. But in all actuality, it actually could be, because it measures, it says 657 by 222 by 700 micrometers. So as you can see here on the finger, incredibly small. It says making it smaller than a grain of sea salt and narrow enough to pass through the eye of a needle. Kevin Weissner, who is the chief creative director of Mischief, positioned the bag as a commentary on the practicality of these ever shrinking luxury handbags. I know we've seen from Jacquemus, we've just seen the bags getting smaller and smaller. So it's kind of funny to see, you know, this literally probably the smallest that they can get. And he says it's basically become like jewelry. And I see in the chat, somebody said that it just sold. So they previewed it at Men's Fashion Week in Paris. Of course, it's not something that consumers can buy, but they put it up in a charity auction and it sold for, I think they said over 50,000 pounds. So again, very interesting trend. I just thought it was a funny kind of riff on the micro bag as it's getting smaller and smaller.
It's just another example of things we're never sure if it's satire or what. Like my husband does a radio show and he found this in his show prep earlier this week and sent it to me. And he said, "Is this real?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's definitely not real. It's certainly fake." And then the New York Times article comes out and I'm like, no, actually, I think it's real. So we never know.
Nice.
Thanks, Nia. And last but not least, we're going to end today's webinar with Odessa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Odessa. I am an intern with Women's Wear. So the first link I have is this really cool public art project by an artist, Paul Coxage. And it's essentially meant to be a functional piece that doesn't disrupt the natural flow of traffic, pedestrian traffic, but there's also spaces for people to relax and rest. And I think this is really cool, especially I've been seeing a lot of conversation around not necessarily public art, but like benches and things in urban environments that are meant to decrease accessibility for folks, specifically houseless folks who may not have another place to rest their head at night or to just, sit. And so this is a really cool, I think, sort of remedy to that not only provides a space for anyone to sit and relax or just enjoy, a moment to sit down, but also allows for people who are maybe rushing to work or just trying to get where they're trying to go to also move through this art space. And I also think, there's a lot of conversation about like rewilding urban environments and adding more green space. I think this is also a cool addition to that and really, creating more public art spaces that people can interact with and kind of redefining what folks might have an idea of an exhibition as being is, don't touch it. Like this is art. You're not supposed to interact. Also a shelter. I think that's a really good way to think of it too, but just, creating more experiences for people to interact with art in a public space, I think is a really cool concept. So I
also love they use the reclaimed scaffolding because anyone that's been to New York, of course, knows scaffolding. It's kind of a curse on most blocks. So it's a great way to reuse those boards.
Cool. And then my second link is about the Pear Ring. This is something I've seen advertised a couple of times recently in the last couple of weeks, but I think it's sort of ramping up in popularity. But it's kind of like a social experiment. Essentially, it's a little green ring that folks can wear to signal that they are single and open to being approached, in a romantic context. It mentions a study a little ways down where in the UK, the folks that were participating in the study said that they were actually more interested in meeting people offline. Dating apps have kind of been, I don't want to say on the outs, but there's been a lot of conversation about, how effective dating apps actually are in terms of meeting a partner and having a meaningful relationship. There's, been a lot of people who say like it doesn't go past a couple of texts on a dating app that doesn't actually culminate in a real life meeting. And so the Pear Ring really is trying to tap into this desire for IRL connection or in real life connection in a romantic context. So I think this is really cool, especially as we're talking about, consent and what consent really means, and sort of giving people a way to show that they are open to a relationship, to being approached. So just a really cool kind of like social experiment that might become something bigger, but something to add to the conversation about dating and, how we meet people in the modern world.
Yeah, it's the visual cues are certainly interesting to apply to accessories. A lot of pride festivals now, or actually for that matter, a lot of festivals as a whole, have boards when you walk into them where there's color coded various indicators that you can indicate whether you're looking for friends, whether you don't want to be hugged, it goes on and on and on. But I find these really interesting because so much is left up to technology. So actually having these more like analog visual color cues to communicate with other people is really interesting. Thanks, Odessa. Good links. Thank you everyone for joining us. I think those are all of our links for today. We'll be back here again on Wednesday, August 2nd for our August show and tell. Again, we'll follow up with you later this week with all of the links and of course the video as well of today's webinar. Thanks for joining us. Hope you have a great July. Stay cool. We'll see you in August. Bye, guys.